hosted a movie night along with the Rec and Park staff here. We're going to be showing the Disney movie Luca, and our office is providing free refreshments, free popcorn. We've had other events at the park, but this is the first summer event that we have at the pool.
We are showing this movie to the community to promote the swimming pool and the programs. We offer swimming lessons, teams, and to promote a lifeguard recruitment.
It seems like a very good night, to hang out with my kids at the local pool. Not only was it very hot, we appreciate all the goodies that you guys got for us: sunblocks, sunglasses, popcorn, and the movie night. A lot of kids around here cannot afford a pool in their local backyards, and it's a great time, to spend with your kids, to come out, and it's free.
I love it. I can see people older than me. I'm 62, but I seeing people older than me coming here.
Barbara Morrison was a jazz icon whose legend still lives on today, not just as the name of a performing arts center, but also as the name of a square. The Barbara Morrison Square is how the city of LA is showing its admiration and appreciation for an artist who will now have a permanent place in the city.
It's all right.
We're here today to honor Barbara Morrison. The corner of 43rd and Degnan will be renamed the Barbara Morrison Square.
Have a good time.
We loved her at Department of Cultural Affairs. She served not only as an artist, but as a producer, as a panelist, as an advisor.
It's all right.
And so we just love her, and we are just so happy to be able to sponsor Tim Morganfield, who is now the executive producer of the Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center, in this inaugural festival.
To be able to take a moment to acknowledge her and then permanently make a place in the city for her, I think is essential to recognize all of her contributions to the art form and to the city and to the community.
She brought jazz, the best of jazz, to Leimert Park. She made sure that Leimert Park was still considered the center of African American culture as it relates to the arts and music and jazz and all the things that take place here.
For her to determine that because she's an icon and a global star, that she wants to be in Leimert Park was really important to this community. So the least we could do is honor her.
Honoring her here on this festival and having these great artists here performing, it's going to be a wonderful day. I wish more people could come down, and next year, I'm going to say this for next year, it will be the Barbara Morrison Jazz and Blues Festival every year from now.
In this week's feature story, our own Maria Hallround sits down with Abby Chamberlain Brock, curator of the Hollyhock House, and Daniel Tarica, interim general manager of the Department of Cultural Affairs. They discuss some of the projects they are undertaking at this historic LA landmark. Let's hear the story.
I'm delighted today to be joined by Daniel Tarica, the interim general manager of the Department of Cultural Affairs here in Los Angeles, and Abby Chamberlain Brock, the curator of the Hollyhock House. You've got the best job in the city, I think.
It is a joy to care for this house. When Aline Barnstall met Frank Lloyd Wright in 1915, it wasn't a house that she was asking him to build, it was a theater. She purchased this property 4 years later, and the scope of that commission grew immensely. The theater, director's house, studio, artist spaces, as well as a house for Barnstall, 2 guest houses, a cinema for movies. It was a really ambitious plan that ended up only being partially realized with the main house and 2 guest houses.
There has been a lot done to make sure that this beautiful space stays and is realized the way it should be. So what were you able to do during this downtime to sort of make sure that we can enjoy it for a long, long, long time?
The closure gave us that opportunity to focus on some of the restoration projects that we had long hoped to do. Basic things like varnishing the floors. We have a lot of visitors and foot traffic, so those kind of projects. But then also really dramatic ones like restoring the art glass doors in the owner's room.
We have great support from the mayor and the city council on being able to do this and to really bring in the funds and resource to be able to maintain the beauty and the elegance of the site.
We're thrilled to be throwing open the doors and interpreting the outdoor spaces along with the iconic interior ones. The living room, the dining room, which are spaces that Wright designed original furnishings for, the patio, the south terrace, they're really exciting ways to look back on the house and understand how Wright incorporated the outdoor spaces as much as the indoor ones as living rooms.
I highly encourage folks to come visit. Go to our website at culturela.org, and there you will find information on Barnsdall Park and our many other historic sites, theaters, and art centers throughout the city.
Share your love of books at the Los Angeles Libros Festival. Dance at the Watts Jazz Festival and Day of the Drum, or attend the anniversary celebration LA for All Day. All this up next on Things to Do.
If you want to share your love of books and stories with your children, you may be interested in attending the 2-day Los Angeles Libros Festival. It's a bilingual book festival for the whole family that will take place online and in person, providing entertainment for all ages. There will be Spanish and bilingual storytelling, performances, workshops, encounters with award-winning authors, and even an interactive bilingual concert for the whole family. Families are welcome to attend this free 2-day bilingual book festival, which will take place online on Friday, September 23rd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and in person at the Central Library on Saturday, September 24th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information, visit lapl.org/Libros-Fest. Attention music lovers, jazz enthusiasts, and drum aficionados. The Watts Towers are celebrating their 40th annual Day of the Drum Festival and their 45th annual Simon Rodia Jazz Festival. At the Drum Festival, attendees can expect Aztec traditional dancing, taiko, West African, and Puerto Rican drums. For the Jazz Festival, Wendy Barnes and the Influentials, the Pan-African People's Orchestra, and an all-stars performance will delight jazz lovers. There will also be a food court, children's games, and other fun activities. This 2-day celebration is free, open to everyone, and will take place at the Watts Towers Arts Center campus on Saturday, September 24th and Sunday, September 25th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, visit wattstowers.org. LA for All is a campaign that was launched by LA Civil Rights a year ago to stand against hate and encourage citizens to stand up for a more inclusive Los Angeles. To celebrate its anniversary, the city is holding an LA for All Day as a culmination of its LA for All Week. This event, highlighting diversity, will be a chance for neighbors to come together and enjoy food, music, and performances by different cultural groups. LA for All Day is a free event where everyone is welcome and will take place at the Wall Las Memorias Monument in Lincoln Park on Thursday, September 22nd from 5 to 9 p.m. For more details and to register, visit bit.ly/LA for All Day. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.
Good morning and welcome to the Los Angeles City Council. Today is Tuesday, September 20th. I'm Nuria Martinez, the President of the City Council. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Blumenfield.
Present.
Bonin.
Present.
Buscaino.
Here.
Cedillo. Absent. De Leon.
Here.
Harris Dawson.
Present.
Hutt.
Present.
Koretz.
Present.
Krikorian.
Here.
Lee.
Present.
Martinez.
Present.
O'Farrell.
Present.
Price. Absent. Rahman. Rodriguez. 13 members present and a quorum, Madam President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes of September 19, 2022.
Mr. O'Farrell moves and Mr. Blumenfield seconds. Next.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. It's September 16th, 2022.
Mr. O'Farrell moves and Mr. Blumenfield seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Koretz moves and Mr. De Leon seconds.
Madam President, today is Tuesday. It's time for the flag salute.
Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. O'Farrell, would you please lead us in the flag?
It would be my great honor. Please all place your hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's run through the agenda.
Items 1 and 2 are items noticed for public hearing. Items 3 through 5 are items which public hearings have been held. Items 6 through 22 are items for which public hearings have not been held. Items 23 through 27 are closed session items considered by the Budget and Finance Committee. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, without objection, those items are now before us. Members, you wish to call any of these items special? Mr. Blumenfield.
Thank you. I'd like to call items 4 and 5 special for comment.
Items 4 and 5 special for comments. Any others?
Yeah, item 22, I'd like to move recommendation B and also move that we delete recommendation B8 from the LAHD report, and that's to enable council to provide more input about the home key round 3. I'm happy to explain that when we get to it.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. De Leon. Any others, Mr. Blumenfield?
That's it. Thank you.
Mr. Bonin?
Thank you, Madam President. Would just like to do a separate vote on 26 and 27, if I could.
Separate vote on 26 and 27 requested by Mr. Bonin. Members, any other specials? Seeing no other specials, Madam Clerk, which are the available items for us to vote on?
Madam President, there are cards on items 1, 2, 6 through 9, 12, 13, 16, and 22. The only item available for council at this time to vote on is item 3.
Let's go ahead and vote on item number 3. Open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
And we're going to move into closed session items, which are items 26 through 27. I'm sorry, 23 through 27. Mr. Krikorian, would you like to speak to these items? Closed session items?
Thank you, Madam President. Items 23 through 25 are city attorney recommendations to settle. These are routine settlements. Budget and Finance has considered them and recommends approval. Items 26 and 27 are recommendations from the city attorney to reject settlement offers. Again, Budget and Finance has considered them and recommends approval of the city attorney's recommendations.
Members, are there any questions on any of these items? Mr. Bonin has requested separate votes on items 26 and 27. Why don't you go ahead and read out the information on each of the items, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Madam President. Item number 23, in the case entitled Davin Link versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $287,500 in settlement. Item 24, in the case entitled Bazaar Abrahamian versus City of Los Angeles et al., there's a recommendation to expend up to $200,000 in settlement. Item 25, in the case entitled Janet Rivani versus City of Santa Monica et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $295,000 in settlement. Item number 26, in the case entitled Sage Maloney versus City of Los Angeles et al., there's a recommendation to reject the plaintiff's offer of settlement. Finally, item 27, in the case entitled David Lopez versus County of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to reject the plaintiff's offer of settlement.
We go ahead and vote on items 23 through 25. Let's go ahead and open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the votes.
14 ayes.
Okay, I'm going to take items 26 and 27 together. Let's go ahead and open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote. Can you tabulate the vote?
13 ayes, 1 no.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and move into public comment. If I call your name, please come up to the podium. Barbara Brody. Barbara, you signed up to speak on items 1 and 4 and general public comment. Why don't you go ahead and start with your items?
Can I just speak on item 1 now and then do 4 and 5 when they come up, please?
No, we all speak together. So you have to take these items together. So you're speaking on items
Well,
1.
then I will yield my time, Madam
Hold on for
President,
just a
because
second.
I'm here to represent the Neighborhood Council on items 4 and 5, and 1 is my own comment.
Okay, well, that's okay. You can go ahead and do that.
I would rather have the full time for 4 and 5 later, unless
Yeah,
I
you
can
can take those. I can take that comment now.
Can I have? I only want to take the 1 minute for number 1 for myself.
That's fine.
Can
so
I
you
do
can
that?
speak
All
on
right.
all, let me explain it to you. So you can speak on all your items. You signed up to speak on items 1, 4, and 5.
Right.
And then you have your 1 minute of general public comment. So I can give you 3 minutes to speak on your items and then move on to your 1 minute of general public comment.
Oh, all right. I can't do it now.
You can't do it now?
I can't do it all now. No, I want to hear it when it's up.
Well, this is the time where you speak on the items. I'm not coming back to public comment. So
Right.
if I call on you now, this is the time you should speak on your items.
I don't want to waste your time. The reason I wanted to talk on 1 was just to ask the council if they could activate the local public comment desks at the local city halls. But that 4 and 5 are really the important items, so I'm going to yield and wait and do those when you call them.
This is the time. We're not calling you back to speak on the items. We take public comment all at once, and then we close public comment, and then we vote on the items.
The truth is, I forgot my glasses in the car, and I wanted
It's
to go
okay.
and
So
get
you're
them.
speaking on your
Okay.
items then?
I'm here to speak on items number 4 and 5 on behalf of the West Side Neighborhood Council and the many councils that have filed statements in opposition to the STAP program as currently conceived and presented, as well as to the LA Municipal Code that has been inserted into the NMD for the STAP program. I don't know where all of you will be in 2 or 4 or 5 years, or maybe 10, but I know that many of your constituents will be standing out in the blazing sun waiting for a bloody bus. This program does not address and does not solve the problems that STAP was meant to solve. Public Works and those supporting this program don't know the details or are wedded to a project that was conceived of before the impacts of the COVID and pandemic were known and before we faced a recession in our economic system. There is no money for STAP. There is no staff for STAP. It is a hollow shell that has been designed to press through perhaps an LA Municipal Code that will remove all protections from the public right-of-way that exist now against commercial advertising structures. Those structures should be judged on their individual merit when they are proposed, not placed within an LA municipal code that will likely undermine the city's authority to regulate signage on off-site signs forever. It's wrong. It is sloppy work. And there is an option. This city, if it is really committed to placing transit shelters on public streets, will develop a hybrid program that takes the best of the current program along with the best of the proposed program. You could have transit shelters in underserved communities in the blazing valley heat if you allow a vendor to pay for them and not burden the city with the responsibility of having to buy them and install them. There is that option. It has never been looked at. No one has talked about a hybrid plan. It's been the Board of Public Works plan for which they have never answered questions, never addressed concerns, ever. They did great dog and pony shows, probably 40 or 50 of them, where they nodded their heads and said, thank you very much, we'll look into it, and then never did. This is a contract for 10 years. We have waited 20 years for the current contract to expire. You have created a political, wonderful program here. It's a momentary feel-good measure that allows the council and the mayor, who appears to be behind this, to say, look what we did for transit riders. I'm here to tell you you're not doing enough for transit riders. They don't have the money to do this program. You don't have the staff to do this program, and it is structured poorly. At the Joint Council Committee, Representative Lee raised significant questions that were never answered, and the Budget Committee chair was talking about breaking the contract before it's even signed. That is unsound public policy, and we deserve better. The city deserves better. LA Municipal Code should not be adopted today, and this STAP program should go back for consideration. Thank you.
At this time, would you like to take your 1 minute of general public comment?
Sure, thank you.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and...
The public comment I wanted to make has to do with the nature of making public comments. It is difficult for constituents to come to City Hall and to speak. I myself was locked out of parking today because the phones are down. People can't leave their jobs and their families to come downtown, whether traffic is good or bad. We have LA municipal centers in the Valley, in San Pedro, in the West Side, and they should be equipped with cameras so that people may testify from those places, if not remotely, in a hybrid session. It's important to be able to have people participate and not make it hard. And it would be much appreciated if the council would look at how to facilitate that to happen. Thank you very much.
The next speaker is Argelia Garcia. Argelia, you signed up to speak on items 4 and 5 in your 1 minute of general public comment. Start with your items, please.
That's right. Good morning. I am Argelia Garcia, here on behalf of GPSN. GPSN aims at uplifting opportunities for children facing inequitable conditions, and it is for this reason that GPSN is asking City Council and making shade a priority for our students who wait in the scorching heat for the bus without shade or protection. Just this weekend, the heat will increase to 12 degrees above average. I think we could all agree that it was unappealing to stand in the heat of the sun just a couple of weeks ago when we hit 3 digits. It would only be beneficial for LA to grow a robust bus ridership in order to decrease reliance on cars and build world-class bus shelters that provide shade, safety, and protection. Right now, we are failing our students and the next generation of potential mass transit riders. I strongly urge you to provide shade at our bus stops for our students that will be able to access live schedules on their way to school. So I am thinking of students. Thank you so much for your time. I hope that you consider that too.
The next speaker is Donald. Donald, you signed up to speak on item number 1 and 5 and general public comments. Start with your items, please.
Hi, I'm Donald Harlan. I'm speaking on agenda items number 1. This is about vacating properties. This is Broadway at 87th Street. This property doesn't belong to the city. It's not your property to vacate. This is part of the freeway development. This is my property since 1978. When I paid to have the freeways built, this was one of the properties next to it. This is not public property. This is not for the city to give away this property. My property assessor code is 0. I have properties all over the city like that. The county assessor report says somebody just showed up and modified the assessor report. On agenda item number 1, I did pay to have a U.S. government building constructed there, close to the area in 1978. And some of that property is donated to the federal government. But that doesn't mean all the other properties around there are owned by the government. What happens, somebody tried to give it away or sell it or something in there, and it didn't belong to them. So agenda item number 1, I would urge the city council to vote no. They need to do more research on that. There's no succession of ownership. Agenda item number 5. Public Works amending LA Municipal Code to get more billboard advertising. That's agenda item number 5. No, I would ask the council to vote no. There's a problem with the LA City Council. You see, I had donated some billboard revenue to some of the city to run some of the functions over there in those areas around those billboards. Okay. Now there's a bunch of city employees trying to make up
And you can
advertising
You
contracts.
can go into general public comment.
General public comment. First, I wanted to talk about agenda item number 22. This is a LA Housing Department. They're building development teams for Project Room Key. They need to be stopped. They need to be investigated. This is the LA Housing Department. There's people in the government, LA City Council members and LA County people, illegally doing hotel developments. They're illegally developing hotel properties as hotels. They're giving away real estate to hotel developers and are getting deals. And then they develop a program like Project Room Key, where they use government money illegally to put their family members in there. They're building them brand new hotels all over the city illegally. And through Project Room Key, the LA Housing Department is giving it away to their family members. LA Housing Department has $100 billion of illegal development already.
Thank you, Speaker. Yeah, no, your time ran out. Sorry about that. The next speaker is Jean O. Jean O. Jean, you signed up to speak on items 4 and 5 and general public comment. Please start with your items.
Thank you. My name is Gene O, CEO of Transito. I'm here on behalf of myself as well as Mark Borzakowski, CEO of Vector Media. We're here really to answer any questions that you may have today, but more importantly, we're here to show our appreciation in person for this opportunity to work with you. Transito is a mobility company. We've operated and helped the largest cities in California manage their mobility projects. We have over 16 years of experience. Vector Media has over 25 years of experience specializing in transit advertising. We've joined forces because we believe the time is now to finally evolve the bus stop. As we said repeatedly, this is not an advertising contract. It's a transportation contract. And we're here really to make sure that the funds, of course, are used to increase shelter throughout LA, provide things like real-time bus information, emergency broadcast information, city messaging, and of course, serious lighting at all 3,000 of our shelters to really up the safety level for everyone. We believe by working together, of course, we can really evolve the bus stop and provide a new future for the city of LA. We've brought in a ton of great experts in design, in transportation, and in construction to realize this vision, execute it properly, and really make sure that your vision for a green and equitable smart cities future is going to be beneficial for all Angelitos. and really to bring shelter, shade, safety, and comfort for everyone. So I appreciate your time, and of course, we're here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to take your 1 minute of general public comment, or?
That'll be great. I appreciate that. I think we're all here, of course, for the same reason, right? Because we recognize that the growing divide in Los Angeles is an ongoing problem. We believe that the bus is the backbone of smart cities mobility. By really empowering the bus and making sure that the bus riding experience, especially while we're waiting and experiencing climate change, really increasing the heat for everyone, that is really the best way to make sure that equity and the environment are addressed in a real way. It's a very simple thing. Oftentimes, bus shelters are looked at as a humble transportation amenity. But as you know, for the everyday Angelino taking the bus, it's more than that, right? It's an opportunity really to get around and to advance in their lives. So increasing bus shelters, making sure that's a priority, is something that we feel is very important. And especially with our plan, we feel by giving 60.5% of revenues to the city, we're empowering the city to really execute the long-term vision to bring bus shelters to all neighborhoods and community districts. So I do appreciate your time. And again, we're here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
The next speaker is Liliana Alonso Maya. Liliana, you're speaking on items 4 and 5 and general public comment. Start with your items, please.
Thank you. Good morning, members of the LA City Council. My name is Liliana Alonso Maya. I'm a program manager at Alliance for a Better Community, ABC. ABC works to advance social, economic, racial equity, and justice for the Latino community in the Los Angeles region. And I'm here to support the Streets LA's Vision for Sidewalk and Transit Amenities program, which will provide much needed shelters, bus shelters for communities in low-income communities specifically. I would like to share a few critical points for you today as you weigh in your decision. This contract will provide 3,000 bus stops and 450 shade structures. 75% of the bus riders in every district will get new shelters. 100% of bus stops will have real-time departure data and city information. 10 to 15% of all advertising space is devoted to the city and community messaging. Furthermore, ABC believes this project will offer opportunities to local communities by expanding shelters to do the following: act as a reliable point of internet connectivity, aiding in closing the digital divide, and be used to promote electronic ads, PSAs, messages from local nonprofits, and used to promote local small businesses. We urge this board to ensure that the bus stops be installed in a manner that distributes the most robust shelters in low-income, high-ridership areas, like, for example, in my community in District 9, as well as to work and ensure community residents and CBOs are engaged on this issue by creating an advisory group. ABC has a strong network of more than 600 parents and community members in LA County, and the vast majority do not own vehicles. Currently, 75% of Metro's customers are Latino or African American, with an average median household income for bus riders only $17,975 a year. Most bus shelters lack basic amenities like shade, seating, and real-time route information.
Do you want to move into your 1 minute of general public comment?
No, just we want to urge you to support this, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
The next speaker is Arnold Sachs. Arnold, you're speaking on item 1 and 12 and general public comment. Please start with your items.
Excuse me, ma'am, I signed up for 13, 16.
Yes, you're right, my mistake. 12, 13, 16, and 22.
Okay, so what would you like me to start on, my items?
Yes.
Items first and then general public
Okay, item
comment.
number 1, part of it refers to the city charter. And I'm wondering when the city is going to update the city charter. There's a lot of problems with the conditional use permits that are used liberally as kind of like banknotes.
So, Mr. Sachs, item
Mr. City Attorney, I mentioned item 4 and item 1.
Mr.
Number
Sachs,
4
item 1
says something
is
about
a
the city
vacation.
charter.
Can you stick with that? Not
Hey,
everything
blah,
that
blah, blah.
Okay,
Shut
so
the
you're
fuck
disrupting
up.
the meeting. We're
Mr.
gonna
Arnold
cut you off.
Sachs, get back on your items or I'm going to ask you to sit down. Get back on your items.
Try not to interrupt me. I mentioned part 4 says something about the city charter. When is the city going to get involved in
Hold this time for
updating
1
the
second. I'm going
city
to explain
charter?
this to you once, Mr. Sachs. The fact that an item mentions the charter does not mean you can talk about anything related to the charter. Stick to the substance of the items. Please begin. If you or go off again, you'll forfeit your time. We'll send you to
4
jail.
items that are numbered. Those 4 items or 5 items are part of the item, aren't they, Mr. City Attorney?
Okay, you're still off topic, so we're going to send you
No,
to
I'm
general
not
for a
off
minute.
topic. So item 12 refers to AB 1290 funds. Who delivers AB 1290 funds? Don't they come from the Community Redevelopment Act? Yes, they do. They come from the state. So how does the state of California still have AB 1290 funds when the Community Redevelopment Act was discontinued by Governor Brown to save money for the state? So where is this money coming from? And why isn't it going to the county districts instead of why isn't it going to the city districts instead of the city offices? Item 13 refers to climate sustainability. If you keep building, you're not going to be able to sustain the climate. You're not going to be able to go green. Where are you going to get the money from? You're having a severe water crisis right now.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs.
Thank you,
Your
Mr.
time's
Sachs.
expired.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. The next speaker is Lilibeth Navarro. No, you're done, sir. You're done.
Mr.
Thank
Sachs,
you.
we sent you to general because you were repeatedly off topic after being warned, so your time has expired. Please go sit down.
The next speaker is Lilibeth Navarro. Is Lilibeth here? Mr. Sachs, please sit down. Lilibeth, you're speaking on items 4 and 5. If not, I can try to give you a microphone if that's too far for you. Hold on for just a second. Can you speak into the mic, see if we can hear you? If not, I'm going to give you a microphone.
Mic test, can you hear me? Thank you.
So you're speaking on items 4 and 5, and then you have a 1 minute of general public comment. You can start on your items. Go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, members of the LA City Council. I'm Lilibeth Navarro, Executive Director of CaLife, an independent living center serving 50 zip codes of the Central and South LA region. As an occasional bus commuter, I'm here to encourage the City Council to approve the building of more bus stops that frankly serve the riding disability community in more ways than one. There are more than 1 million disabled residents in Los Angeles, many of us seniors and people with different disabilities. Most of us don't and cannot drive cars, nor can we afford taxi service. Some of us use the paratransit services, but the frustration brought about by long share rides and late pickups make the bus the most practical alternative. Bus stops are a welcome shade in the middle of the urban desert jungle. On our mobility devices, it's difficult to be carrying and managing an umbrella for shade. Since our cities are often devoid of trees for restful stops, bus stops definitely provide the needed oasis for a more comfortable trek from point A to point B. While it would take time and ideal conditions to grow the amount of trees for shade, building bus stops is definitely faster and more efficient. Also, bus stops are essential information centers for the commuters. A clean, can I please continue?
You can continue. You have a minute. You have 1 minute of general, so you can continue
Okay.
if you wish.
A clean and well-maintained bus stop can provide information to a commuter needing guidance and direction. Other bus stops even have access to MTA staff for emergency services. Where people congregate, they usually have the buffer against criminal behavior, because good people are usually around to provide surveillance. So it's good to have others waiting for the bus with you at the bus stop. So what is there that poses a problem for bus stops? The abuse of advertising? That is not as significant as the benefits of bus stops. Bus stops are a very useful and practical city service. Let's make them better, cleaner, more ergonomic and functional, less prone to vandalism, more accessible, and more compatible with the city's general style.
Thank you, Speaker.
And
Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Pete Ocampo. Ma'am, do you need help? Okay. Pete, you're speaking on items 4 and 5, and your 1 minute of general public comment.
My name is Peter Ocampo. I'm president of AP Construction Company. We're excited to be on the Transito Vector team. We are responsible for the delivery and implementation of the ground. We're contractors, and we perform the civil and site improvements for those bus shelters. We started in working in the Department of Transportation in the early 90s. My father and I formed the company in 1989. We were small business, minority-owned business, and have recently graduated from that program. We're a strong support of local hire. We're strong supporters of in-house training and apprenticeship. We've been working with, in the early 90s, it was then RTD, but now LA Metro. We've completed in excess of 60 projects with the agency. We've successfully installed several hundred shelters throughout local cities and communities in the LA basin. We're excited again. We're proud to be on the team and looking forward to enhancing the city of Los Angeles and bringing better ridership amenities and supporting the cause as well. So I thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Rashawn Washington. Rashawn Washington. Anyone here with that name? I'm going to move on to the next speaker. Casey Madron. You signed up to speak on items 4 and 5.
My name is Casey Madron. I'm here representing Citizens for a Better Los Angeles. I want to note that I'm a transit rider, and Citizens for a Better Los Angeles supports anything that will actually genuinely improve the transit experience. Unfortunately, the STAP program is so poorly conceived, there are a lot of questions about whether it will actually achieve its stated goals. Basic issues have not been addressed. The level of environmental review is inadequate. It should be an EIR, not an MND. Even the MND fails to address many basic issues, starting with a project description. It doesn't even include a description of the network infrastructure that will be necessary to make STAP work. Another problem is the privacy issues. The way STAP is conceived, the documents that are associated with the program actually give a number of conflicting descriptions of how privacy protections will be achieved. It even cites a document, the city's digital code of ethics, that has not been adopted yet, which makes me wonder how it can protect people's privacy if it hasn't been adopted. On item 5, the ordinance amending the LAMC to revise the description of ad structures and exempt some structures from prohibitions. I don't think the council really understands what it's getting into here. Basically, the structures we're talking about, whether we're talking about digital billboards or digital displays or kiosks, you're talking about digital out-of-home advertising. And one of the key features of digital out-of-home advertising is data collection. There are no meaningful privacy protections to keep the companies that are going to be involved in DOOH from collecting personal information from passersby indiscriminately. This is opening the door to a world of privacy violations. The city already knows that the Metro TCN is going to be expanded and the kiosk is going to be displayed. I urge you to reject both 4 and 5. Thank you.
The next speaker is Dr. Truthbay. Dr. Truthbay, you signed up for items 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 22, and general public comment.
Word. I'm just going to touch briefly on some of the agendas. But I want to start with agenda number 4, Transito Vector. I actually went to a display that they had about a year ago, and bus shelters, they're pretty nice, state of the art. They do have a lot of amenities, helpful information. My main concern is vector media. What is going to be shown on these bus ads? Is it propaganda? Is it positive words, affirmation? Is it Bible verses? It's up in the air right now. So I live in South LA where we have liquor store, dispensaries, and the advertising media is movies like Bros and degrading stuff that really is not positive. So I urge Transito to really look into what advertisement will be at these bus shelters. Now, another concern people have is because of the homeless crisis, bus shelters are a good place where a lot of homeless people do convene. So you guys got to work harder with Project Room Key, Project Home Key, whatever project that you have for the homeless to expedite it and make sure that people have a location to sleep on other than a bus bench. But aside from that, I believe that the Transito Vector or any type of bus shelter in this capacity would be a vast improvement in any district. It doesn't require a EIR because it doesn't do a lot of environmental damage, very minimal, if any. So I don't think that is required. But what I am concerned is that you do have more of a town hall meeting concerning what advertisement or what companies will be able to advertise in that area, because we do know that advertisement is the key to manipulate people's thoughts, to redirect them into thinking other things, and so we just want to be very careful on what's being advertised with that. But aside from that, I really do believe you should go into that. Now, 14, Bonin, you have a transfer of $400,000 from general city purposes to community services in District 11, but it doesn't state what community service it's for. So this motion, Harris Dawson, for Bonin and Rahman, we need more clarification for this $400,000 for District 11 community services. I hope it has something to do with youth or homeless or just something that really does matter, not just in the pockets of Joe Schmo. Now 22, you have, 5-page agenda of Project Home Key sites. Very interesting, $234 million, $235 million, particularly for 11 sites. Seems pretty steep. So if we're gonna break down, it's very necessary, Project Home Key, but then again, the numbers are too much. So I want you to re-look into that.
And you can go to general.
Public comment? All right, so 15 of you, I still need to see your homeless deputies in each district. You don't have one, some of you. Homeless and Outreach, I also need the link of where we can apply either any RFP or any type of homeless liaison position. As I mentioned before, Ms. Rahman, your position, you said, is off the table after we file for it. We do need clarification for Marquise Harris Dawson and Ms. Hunt. For sure, if you guys can just pay attention for just a few minutes, because this is important. Vision Theater needs to have a youth council or something that's for the black community there. So who's contracting for the Vision Theater? Can we figure that out? We need to have a homeless charrette. I don't care what district is gonna host it, but we need to have all hands on deck, funding raised. We need keys in the hands of the homeless. I do the outreach and engagement, so when I come in here to explain to you the things that are needed, please be respectful and apply to the paperwork that I'm gonna send to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Justice. Anyone here with the name Justice? Is that you? You signed up for item number 8.
Oh, no.
And general public comment. You
Testing,
can start
can
off
you hear
with
me?
your item number 8.
Yeah, that's yes, ma'am. That's dealing with LASA. Living almost 2 years on Skid Row before getting housing from Project Room Key Council. LASA was created by the City Council, the Mayor, Board of County Supervisors to help resolve LA homelessness. Seems like conflict of interest, but anyway. Another thing is, where's the 40 million LASA lost? Everybody know about it, but don't nobody know where it is. Anyway, LASA coordinates over hundreds and hundreds of millions to help the homeless issue. Funded by the city, county, state, and federal, that's close to $1 billion. Now, the Board of Supervisors approved $532.6 million spending plan. LASA needs retraining in their way of assisting the homelessness, and basically, the system is broke, guys. Y'all gotta fix the system. You can't Band-Aid it. You gotta fix the system. I lived in Skid Row, Councilman DeLeon. I now have housing in Councilman Cedilio. I'm a homeless activist now. You guys got a lot of money.
Thank you. So
You got to quickly do something with those vouchers, those housing vouchers. Thank you very much.
The next speaker is Sandra Bell. Sandra Bell? Is no one here with that name? The next speaker is Mei Zhao. Mei? You signed up to speak in general public comment.
For number 4?
No, I just have you
Or-
down for general public comment.
Okay.
Did you want to speak on item 4?
Yes.
Okay, so you
For
can go
public
ahead and
comment?
speak on it in general public comment if you would like.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Mei Zhao. I'm a daily commuter since childhood to adult. My parents came from the United States not knowing a lot of English, so they managed taking the transit because we couldn't afford a car. And I've basically adapted to taking the public transportation everywhere from elementary to college. And my college is at CSUN. It hits triple digits out there, so it's hot. It gets hot, and we need more bus and shelters. So I'm in support with the Transito Vector. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Christy Kaplan. Christy, you signed up for general public comment.
Yes, thank you. Hi there, my name is Christy Kaplan, as she said, and I am a voting constituent in Sherman Oaks, and I'm here to urge your support in eliminating pony ride contracts in Los Angeles. Having all the animals at Griffith Park and the pony rides sent to a sanctuary. There's a sanctuary waiting for them, and we can place them immediately. The geriatric ponies at Griffith Park have been confirmed to have depression and physical ailments. They're so, Los Angeles, I don't know why they're allowing this. We're compassionate, caring people, and we should not be having animals go through this pain. There's absolutely no amount of improvement that can be done. So that is not an issue. They just need to be able to be freed and go to the sanctuary that's waiting for them. And I appreciate you listening to me, and thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Justice Butler. Was that you? Okay, I think you signed up twice. It's okay. I'm going to call our next speaker. The next speaker is Fred Wimberly. Fred, you signed up to speak in general public comment.
Good morning, City Council President, and I want to thank Ms. Hutt for representing our district. I live in your district. One thing I want to say real fast, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but at Obama and Crenshaw, we used to have a Ralph's Market. That market is gone. The cleaners moved across the street. I would like to see you and all the city council to take that property and turn into 250 senior low-income apartments. Some could be studio apartments. Some could be one-bedroom apartments. So I understand that area is tied up in court now, so I'd like you to take that into consideration, and I thank all of you very much.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Zora Fahim. You signed up to speak in general public comment.
Yes. It's impossible to go into a circus and make an elephant comfortable in the heat, stress, and overworking conditions. And there's absolutely no amount of improvement that can make it right. This same analogy applies to the animals at Griffith Park and Pony Ride. Just last week, a geriatric pony was providing rides with swollen eyelids in full working condition. And 2 weeks before that, a pony had a challenge reaching the water trough twice in 1 week. We are urging this council to please push your progressive policies forward and eliminate pony ride contracts in Los Angeles. It is unacceptable to treat animals this way. We are counting on you to take action, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Ian Jamison. You signed up for general public comment.
Hi, my name is Ian Jamison. I am co-founder of California Leftists for Freedom. On Sunday, September 18th, President Biden said in a 60 Minutes interview, quote, "The pandemic is over," end quote. There are no pretexts left for this spurious state of emergency. You people are all power-mad tyrants. End the fucking state of emergency.
Okay, I'm going to take a couple of more speakers before I close public comment. Colin Roach. Colin Roach. Anybody here with that name? Okay, I'm going to move on to the next speaker. Brian Lindblad. Brian? Or Bryn, I apologize. You signed up to speak on on item number 4.
Yes. Good morning, City Council members. My name is Bryn Lindblad. I'm Deputy Director of Climate Resolve, a local organization focused on advancing equitable solutions to climate change. And as an aside, I rode the bus here this morning. Speaking in strong support of the STAP program and getting more bus shelters installed immediately. I think it's a well-designed program. Really want to give kudos to the Streets LA staff that spent the time on the forefront identifying locations for the new shelters based on need, using ridership and heat data to really design an equity-based approach. This is a matter of climate justice. Extreme heat days are on the rise, and the STAP program would more than double the amount of bus shelters in the next 5 years. All with real-time arrival info and reserved time for public service announcements, which is something that the digital displays really make possible. Also want to give kudos to Transito, a willing partner towards innovation. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Laura Robin. And after Laura, I'm going to take one more public comment speaker, and then I'm going to close public comment for today's meeting. You signed up to speak on item 4 and 5?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you to the LA City Council members for hearing us. My name is Laura Robin, and I am the studio director for DesignWorks, a BMW Group company, and we are a proud team member of the Transito Vector team that's working on the STAMP project right now. We have, as a design firm, over 50 years in developing mobility design, and we've done work for the city imagining the future and the criteria by which we measure success for future ridership experiences. DesignWorks has the focus point of being on the technology group, and our ambition is to do integrated technology around amenities for riders, such as real-time transit info, such as community messaging, and safety alerts as well. So our aim is for holism and to bring impact where design can. So thanks for hearing us today, and I urge you to consider the contract. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the last speaker was going to be Jessica Meany. Hi, Jessica.
Hi. Good
You
morning.
signed up to speak on item number 4.
And I also put in for 1, but I'll be
I'm
brief.
sorry, which ones? Hold on, it's not telling me that. You signed up for general public comment on item 4.
Yes.
Okay, start with the item.
Okay. Good morning, City Council members. My name is Jessica Meany from Investing in Place. I'm really excited to share with you. We recently released a report called The Bus Stops Here. I'd love to present it to you and share with you some of the findings. I think it's one of the most original reports about buses and metro in the city that I've seen and that I've had the pleasure to be a part of, because who wrote it is bus riders. We did about 125 surveys on the conditions about the bus stop, waiting for the bus, the experience on the bus. And what comes up again and again is the waiting is the hardest part. The reliability, the unreliability, and the bus stop. We might think that all this problem is metro, but I just want to kind of elevate that out of 119 bus lines in the county of Los Angeles, 115 of them are right here in the city of LA. Also, Metro released a report called the Customer Experience Report, where they found that half the bus trip was waiting. So the decision in front of you today about bus shelters is long overdue and incredibly critical. Do I get 60 more? Okay, cool.
Yeah, 1 more minute. Keep
Just a couple of stats. I was really concerned a few weeks ago when I heard the requirement of the new contract to have 3,000 bus shelters come down to a goal. And what's concerning about that is what my read on it is a lack of commitment for money. So this all sounds really cool. I'm really excited. But what's the implementation plan? What's the funding plan? I've heard that it's several $100 million are needed to install the bus shelters. And right now I've only heard $5 million is on the table. So I'm happy to support this program if there's a funding plan in place to get real shade out there for our bus riders that is 20, 25 years overdue. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You know, it appears that there's just a handful of more speakers, so I'm going to call on you. But I just want to remind everyone that item 4 and 5, public comment was satisfied in committee, but I'm going to go ahead and try to take as many as I can so we can start debate on this issue. The next speaker is Miriam Dodge. Marianne Dodge? Is that you? How did you know I was going to call you? That's brilliant. Like, that's amazing. That's amazing. I love it.
And I thought,
No, it had to be a woman. You just know. Okay, item number 4.
Okay, the STAP program before you today is the boondoggle of all boondoggles. It's being sold to you as a means of providing shade at bus shelters. What it really is a means to bring flashing digital advertising into neighborhoods throughout the city. This is contrary to public safety, as digital signs are known to increase traffic accidents. It's contrary to aesthetics and jeopardizes the city's ban on billboards. Billboards lower the property values of nearby homes. To add insult to injury, these bus shelters will have technology that tracks passersby via their cell phones without their knowledge or their permission, in violation of recently passed privacy laws in California. So why are council members so eager to approve STAP? Because they've been promised a cut of the revenue for their discretionary funds. Our beautiful city does not have to be buried behind digital ads. You have the power to stop it now. Just say no to the sign industry. You can create cheaper, more equitable plans.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker is Tanner Whitney. You signed up to speak on item number 4.
Yes, thank you. Yes, my name is Tanner Whitney. I'm a representative of Skidmore, Owings & Merrill. We're the designers and architects for the STAP program. Proud to be partnered with Transito Vector to vastly improve the state of transit shelters in Los Angeles. Skidmore, Owings & Merrill is an international company, a collective of architects, engineers, planners, and urban designers focused on building a better world together. And we're proud to partner with them to bring better shade equity to Los Angeles, which is really what this is about for us, to bring our international experience and our decades of experience here in Southern California to bear on improving the state of transit shelters in Los Angeles. We'll borrow from lessons learned of the previous program and programs that we've executed and been a part of around the world to bring transit to a better place in Los Angeles, to bring shade to underserved communities. Thank you very much, and I'd like to urge you to support STAP. Thank you.
The next speaker is Hillary Norton. You signed up to speak on items 4 and 5.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much, President Martinez. And I want to say thank you so much today for us having the opportunity to hear each other on the STAT program. I am here in support of Transito Vector. My name is Hillary Norton, and I am the Executive Director of FastLink DTLA of the Transportation Management for Downtown Los Angeles, and also a California Transportation Commissioner. Council members, we have now, through the state, nearly $1 billion in new active transportation money that could be spent to support transit riders, bike riders, pedestrians. Unlike what is said about digital ads being just a blight, they are also street lighting for pedestrians and bus riders and make our community safer. We could not do a walkabout and sidewalk analysis because somebody I wanted to take with me was in a wheelchair and it was 105 degrees and his wheelchair would be too hot. We are having people who have to sit on hot benches, if there are benches at all, hot wheelchairs, just to take the bus. I want to thank you for being creative and for making sure that your communities can embrace these bus shelters. But I would also ask two things in addition to approving the Transito Vector plan. I would like to see that the planning department includes in the transportation demand management ordinance the ability for private developers to actually pay for transit shelters and receive points so that we don't have to have every transit shelter be supported by outdoor advertising. In addition, please, please, please coordinate with Bureau of Street Lighting so that as we're walking to those bus shelters that we are not passing many, many street lights that are out because the copper wire continues to be stolen from them. I thank you for leaning in on a comprehensive plan. This is going to be a huge improvement to the ecosystem of sidewalks, bus riders, cyclists, and pedestrians, and it's an honor to speak to you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Michael Shieldstone. Michael, are you here? Michael's not here. The last speaker is Damien Kevitt. Damien? You signed up to speak on item number 4.
Hello, President Martinez, council members. It's good to see you in person. My name is Damien Kevitt with Streets Are For Everyone, an advocacy group that works on street safety issue for all road users across Southern California. We are in strong support of the proposal by Transito Vector to bring 21st century bus shelters that are already used in many other cities to all of Los Angeles. First, I'd like to note that those individuals, by and large, who oppose this are generally not bus riders. As a nonprofit organization dedicated to creating safer streets, I want to directly address the misinformation and fear-mongering that one organization is spreading regarding bus shelters and road safety. This organization is knowingly citing studies that deal with large digital billboards, not ads on bus shelters, which are 3% the size of these large billboards. In 2016, Jerry Watchell, the researcher behind the main studies used by this organization as a scare tactic. There we go.
Your time is up. Sorry about that.
No worries.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. And that concludes public comment for today's meeting, members. I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. Just go ahead and take up items 1 through 2 and items 6 through 21. Let's open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Let's take up item number 22. Let's vote on that item as amended. Let's open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, let's go ahead and take up items 4 and 5 together. Mr. Blumenfield, I believe you called on these two items special. Mr.
Yes.
De Leon? Hold on, Mr. Blumenfield. Mr. De Leon, yes.
Madam President, on file item 22, the item that we just voted on, if we can move it forthwith.
You want it forthwith?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, without objection, that will be the order forthwith on item 22. Mr. Blumenfield, I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
You called item 4 and 5 special, and there's several members on the queue. Go ahead.
Great, thank you. Colleagues, I ask for your aye vote on items 4 and 5. As a city, we have an obligation to provide shelters for our transit riders. They're disproportionately low-income, BIPOC, persons with disabilities, students, seniors who are too young or too old to drive. This is especially important in the West San Fernando Valley, where I represent, as the recent heat wave has demonstrated. Last year we hit 121. This last couple of weeks we were looking at 110 degrees. The sun can be brutal, and because transit service is not as frequent in this area as in other parts of the city, wait times can be long, hot, and unbearable. The goal under the contract is to ensure that at least 75% of bus patrons in each council district have shade and/or shelter where they board a bus. The goal is to have 3,000 new transit shelters, each with e-paper screens displaying real-time bus arrival information. We're seeing this in all sorts of other cities. We're behind the curve on this, and we're LA, we need to be in front of that curve. In the contract, it's described as a goal, and I've heard a couple people talk about that, and not a requirement, but this is solely for the city's protection. Because we are front-funding the manufacture and installation of the shelters, this gives us flexibility to scale back should there be another fiscal calamity like the Great Recession or pandemic-related shutdowns, or hit the gas if we're able to speed it up. While the city is taking on additional risk, this method also means that the city will receive additional revenue. 60.5% of the shared program revenue will be going to the city. It also means that the city will not only own the shelters outright, but also the intellectual properties in its design. This will lead to more accountability, something that we haven't had for many years. There have been some concerns raised about the size of the Transito Vector as compared to the incumbent, and I've got two responses for that. First, the city has engaged in all sorts of procurement reform designed precisely to increase opportunities for smaller companies. We cannot have a procurement system where the big multinational companies are always the ones, or only the ones, who can win. Now, in this one, we gave the responsibility to the department to put together a fair process. We've been given no indication that the technical evaluation team's analysis was unfair. In that evaluation, Transito Vector got about 84 points, while the incumbent got about 71. These are out of 100. That wasn't close. Second, Streets LA has structured the contract in a way that makes it easier to switch to a new contractor should Transito Vector not perform up to contractual requirements. That's important as well. We're going to own this. If we need a different contractor, we can switch during this process. Streets LA conducted a data-driven analysis to determine where the new transit shelters are most needed based on 5 key equity-based factors: high transit ridership, exposure to heat, low income and zero vehicle households, proximity to trip generators, destinations, service facilities, and low frequency bus routes or long wait times, plus an analysis of the site conditions. The current contract has simply not worked for our transit riders, and that's who we need to focus on, especially in communities that don't generate ad revenue. This contract fixes the most glaring issue by ensuring citywide coverage. This is a big step forward for the City of Los Angeles in creating a transportation system that serves our most disadvantaged residents, and consequently, I urge and I vote.
Mr. Koretz, followed by Mr. Bonin.
Thank you, Madam President.
There's no question that the city's getting hotter and hotter and that we need bus shelters. But I do have some questions about this particular program. I'd like to ask if staff could come forward. The first question is for the city attorney's office.
Mr. Koretz, you're asking asking the department to come forward?
Yes, the department and city attorney office.
Is the city attorney in the room? Who's the city attorney? Okay.
And the first thing I wanted to ask is, why did we decide to go with an MND rather than an EIR for this process?
Assistant City Attorney Ted Jordan, I'll defer to staff to answer that question, actually.
So, Lance Owishi with the Bureau of Street Services. We worked with our colleagues in the Bureau of Engineering who have an environmental services group. And by going through the checklist for CEQA, they determined that a mitigated negative declaration is the appropriate level of CEQA documentation required for a project of this nature.
Does it leave us legally exposed at all to do it this way?
Is that a question for the city attorney?
I would think.
Mr. Jordan, did you want to answer that?
Yeah, I'm here with my colleague Sigmund Chu, but I'll be happy to answer that. I guess in the CEQA process, there's a checklist, there's an initial study, and then the appropriate level of CEQA review is undertaken for that project. In some cases, a project is determined to be categorically exempt. In some cases, it's found to have no significant impact, so a negative declaration is prepared. In some cases, there are identified potentially significant impacts, but they can be mitigated down to a level less than significant. In other cases, an EIR is done, and in some of those cases, there are unmitigated significant impacts, and so a statement of overriding considerations is put together with the EIR. So the goal is to find the appropriate level of CEQA analysis for the particular project. And it really depends on the project. In this case, the city's analysis concluded that the mitigated negative declaration was the appropriate means. No matter what is done, whether it's a categorical exemption or an EIR, there's always a chance that a project opponent could want to bring a legal challenge to that. So in any case, there's always the potential for someone wanting to challenge the council's action.
Thank you. And for the department, could you discuss briefly the funding plan for this? Because I've gotten a lot of questions about that.
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Shirley Lau, Assistant Director of Streets LA. Currently, we have some grant funding provided by a grant that we went in with Metro. We also have $1 million in the UB. We're looking into finalizing a Public Works Trust Fund of $30 million. So all of this funding is anticipated for the first year rollout of the program, and we're working closely with our transit agencies to hopefully get some of the additional grant funding that's out there through the infrastructure bill. Also, as this part of the CTC, they have a lot of funding available for active transportation projects. So we look forward to accessing some of those grant funding.
Thank you. And I understand that around 25% of the total bus shelters will have digital signage. How do we decide where and how these digital panels are distributed in which districts and which locations, et cetera?
So yes, that's correct. Lance Owishi again with the Bureau of Street Services. Less than 25% of our shelters will have digital displays located on them. Primarily, we're looking at placing structures of digital shelters, digital panels on them on commercial and industrial corridors adjacent to properties that are zoned as such. We don't have exact locations specified at this point, but our plan is basically to upgrade existing shelters out there where we, again, with these digital panels. And so it'll be a limited number. The majority of the shelters will be static and similar to what we have currently on our streets.
Okay, and one last question about luminosity. So what's the difference between the lighting of the static and the digital?
Last year we had a demonstration of technologies event where we actually took light meter readings between a digital display that was part of the prototypes, one of the prototypes that were out there on the display, and a static shelter that was at the same location. We found that by and large the luminosity of static versus the digital is very comparable to one another. In fact, the digital displays actually were a little bit less as far as the output of light goes. And that's primarily because we are able to control the actual amount of light that the displays are able to do. The contract has limitations in there that say that the display cannot be more than 4 lux above ambient light. And if you think about lux as being equal to lumens, a typical candle puts out 12 lumens of light. And so 4 lux or 4 lumens of light above ambient is not a whole lot. And so again, we are able to control that through the content management system that's part of this, part of the contract, and we believe that we will be compatible with the surrounding environment.
And if you have a problem location, you can easily adjust it, I assume.
That's correct. We are able to adjust the luminosity based upon the content management system that we have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Koretz. Mr. Bonin, followed by Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you to Mr. Blumenfield and to Mr. Krikorian for all the work on this. The bus line closest to my house is the Metro's 33, and a few weeks ago during the height of the heat wave, I took the 33 from the west side to City Hall, and the bus stop closest to my house, which I went to at about 8:30 in the morning, had a bench and it had a shelter. It was pretty damn hot that day, and it was still kind of uncomfortable, but it was intolerable. And I came to City Hall, and when it was time to go home, I had to walk down Spring Street, and there's no shelter, and there's no bench. And it was brutal. It was hitting close to 100 that day. People were suffering standing there in the heat. The people who were there were up against a building which had a narrow sliver of shade, as if they were on the edge of a ledge. It was so hot and so uncomfortable that there was a guy there who gave a bottle of water to a stranger because he was afraid that this woman, the senior citizen, was going to pass out. And that is the reality of bus shelters in Los Angeles. There aren't enough of them. Where they are not, people are suffering. And they tend to be, because of the way we've structured our bus shelter program for the past couple of decades, there tend to be more of them in my part of town than in the rest of the city. And that ain't right. Now, I hate the way we structure our bus shelter program based around advertising. Other cities just do it. They fund it. Santa Monica does it. Culver City does it. Other cities around the country do it. That's not how we've done it, and I think it's a mistake. I've spent my entire time on council opposing public advertising. Here and at Metro, opposing billboards. I hate digital advertising. Absolutely hate it. But I've spent 9 years with Mr. Krikorian on the Metro board fighting for bus riders and fighting for improved bus service and fighting for the customer experience. So how do I balance those two things today? Because this is an up or down contract. Balancing it is fairly easy. Of 119 Metro bus lines, 105 of them run through the city of Los Angeles. 70% of Metro's riders are low income. The median income of a Metro rider is $19,000. 84% of the people who use Metro don't own a car. They don't have the privilege of making a choice about whether or not to take the bus like I do. It is a matter of necessity. It's a matter of survival. And because we don't have enough shelters, and because we don't have enough benches, because we don't have enough amenities, they suffer there, and they suffer more because of the worsening climate crisis. So in a balance between my distaste for digital advertising and my desire to make sure that we provide for bus riders, that's an easy choice to make today. We have to defer to providing bus shelters. Given those stats I just explained, not only is this a public health issue, this is a civil rights issue. Whether or not we provide quality bus service in Los Angeles is a civil rights and an equity issue in Los Angeles. We need to do right by people. Now, this contract, there's a lot of ifs in here. There's a lot of ifs in here. This council, the next council, needs to really robustly fund this. There really needs to be an implementation plan. It needs to happen. And there's some question marks that I worry about. But the reality of what is happening now is absolutely unacceptable. It hasn't worked for 20 years, and we need to do something different. And this is a step in the right direction, and I am glad to support it, and I thank my colleagues who've worked so hard on it.
Ms. Rodriguez, followed by Mr. De Leon.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Mr. Bonin, for providing the real statistics about the ridership in this city and who is desperately seeking the relief from the heat in order to better utilize our public transit services. But to your point, and when you said it perfectly, there's a lot of ifs in this. And to fulfill the very intention that we have to assure the public is going to have the protection from the heat and the relief from the heat is incumbent upon a lot of different factors. I'm concerned about a lot of pieces, and I had raised those issues when we had the joint meeting. I was unable to stay for the vote. But my concern when we talk about, for example, the potential of the active transportation grants, all the ifs associated with other resources that we could potentially pursue in order to fulfill this, I'm concerned about making a commitment to a mirage of fulfilling these promises for public transit riders without fully having the baked plan to implement and the commitment to fully fund this. Because while the CAO has not indicated that there's a potential fiscal impact, there is a fiscal impact, and we don't know what that is going to look like on a year-to-year basis. I have I'm glad to see certain individuals that I have partnered with over the course of my tenure, Hillary Norton from FAST and others. It was not that long ago that I had to go to Hillary Norton to seek her assistance, for example, in her role as California Transportation Committee Chair, to protect even our local Measure M dollars from being borrowed by Caltrans. Amenities that would have funded some of the very transit improvements that we were looking for. So my experience tells me different. While I think there are other resources that we could potentially leverage, we have continued to be in a circumstance where if our own general fund budget isn't fully committed to implementing these things, we're going to fall short in pursuing some of these other dollars that we should in fact be leveraging to implement the very needs of the public transit the needs that public transit users have to incent more ridership of our public transportation. And so I think there's just a lot of questions that remain. And there's a lot of already early signs of unfulfilled promises associated with the conversation that we're having here that have come to more recent attention. And so for that reason, my district is one that I look forward to the amenities that are going to eventually come as a result of implementation of light rail and making sure that we're going to have all the shade structures and everything that will come with that. Even when the state was looking to take those dollars that would provide those very amenities that we're even looking to with respect to this. And as someone who on the Board of Public Works worked with the Bureau of Street Services to implement the first smart shelter, I'm happy to see that we're finally building out all of the amenities that should very well be part of our public transit shelters. Cell charging stations, the time of when your bus is going to arrive, very basic amenities. We did this 8 years ago, 9 years ago, we did this. We did this pilot together. It's at Grand Park. And we did it in every council district. So we know we're able to do this. We've done it. I'm just concerned at what cost without fully committing ourselves in terms of what the actual financial obligation is going to be, and the determination of what it's going to mean for future budgets to fully implement this and actually make sure that we're not selling people a mirage and a promise that will end up going unfulfilled. And so for that reason, I can't obligate ourselves to what I think is a contract that is already, for me, showing signs of some unfulfilled promises. But I thank you for your work.
Mr. De Leon?
Thank you very much, Madam President. First, I want to thank the Chair of Public Works Committee, Mr. Bob Blumenfield, for your hard work. I know it's not easy. To the point that Mr. Bonin had made, I think there's other metropolitan cities throughout the country, urban cities, maybe even throughout the world, where you see bus systems work very efficiently, very transparently within the context of, for the end user, it seems much more easier to access information. And I don't know if it's because it's multi-layers of governance, the Metro, Department of Transportation, local. We're not so much a homogeneous, city. We are the largest city in America, unquestionably, geographically. But recognizing that, I again want to emphasize, Mr. Blumenfield, thank you, because it's not an easy task. I just got one, what I think would be a simple, straightforward question. Two questions, actually. I keep getting this feedback from the Boyle Heights Neighborhood Council subcommittee with regards to the collection of data and privacy issues with regards to the individual ridership. Could you please explain a little bit? I'm understanding it's aggregate, it's not individual, but there is a strong sense of belief that it is digging into disaggregated individual personal data, which to my understanding, that is not the case, but perhaps you can take this opportunity so we can settle this once and for all for the record.
Certainly. Lance Oishi with the Bureau of Street Services once again.
Can you bring the microphone closer?
Sure.
Thank you.
So our program is actually going to be collecting, or if we do have sensors, and one of the things that the contract includes is a provision that if we are going to include sensors with our program, we need to come back to the City Council, first of all, to get approval for those sensors. But the original intent was to collect non-personable data, and so this is anonymous information that takes telemetric data, and we're looking at things like temperatures, humidity. Of course, one of the features of our new shelters will have cooling features, and so in order to activate those, we need to understand what the specific conditions are at shelter locations. We're also looking at it to improve city services. So from the perspective of having traffic counts or pedestrian counts, that's the type of information that we're looking for. It does not collect personal information.
So that we're straight with this. This is not, again, disaggregated individual personal data, your FICO score, your physical, attributes, your consumer taste, if you will, and monetize this information.
That's correct. My understanding is that your cell phones already are transmitting certain signals, and that's it's anonymous data once again. That we're just collecting about the number of people out there, not their personal information, their credit history, and that type of stuff.
Repeat that last part one more time.
Yeah. Again, we are not looking at collecting personal information about folks.
All right. Okay. In the last point I want to make, because I know, and thanks to Chair Blumenfield in the Public Works Committee, I submitted an amendment, a friendly amendment that was agreed upon with regards to coming back to the council as a whole or to the Public Works Committee with monthly reports on the issue of equity. I know that was an issue that came up, and that's still the paradox where in terms of advertisement, revenue is generated understandably in neighborhoods or city council districts that perhaps the financial wherewithal exists, and perhaps there's other neighborhoods where the power of the consumers is not as strong because they just don't have the that economic power as a whole. But the paradox is that the vast majority of ridership, to Mr. Mike Bonnett's point, tends to be those who are at the lower economic strata, perhaps point of origin, if you will, going to where there is a lot of wealth to clean someone's house, to take care of someone's child, to work at a restaurant, a hotel, what have you, et cetera. So with the amendment through the Public Works Committee, we said that you'd come back, either you as representatives, or it would be Transito Vector, or I don't remember off the top of my head, come back on monthly reports on the equity issue with regards to the creation of the bus shelters, and do it on a council by council report also too. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Certainly. You know, one of the biggest differences between our present contract and our new contract is that we are actually using data to help us determine where to place our new shelters. And so as we implement the shelters, we'll keep track of where those locations are at. You heard Councilmember Blumenfield mention that we are looking at high ridership, exposure to heat, equity-focused communities, locations next to chip generators. Those type of that type of data is helping us determine and decide where to put shelters. And as it turns out, we know we're going to be placing shelters at locations where they're needed most by the transit riders in a lot of the communities that were traditionally bypassed because of the advertising component. And so the biggest difference is we, the city, are in the driver's seat as far as determining where to put shelters, and we're not relying upon a contractor to tell us where to put that based upon advertising.
Can you repeat that last sentence one more time so it's on the record once again?
Certainly. The city is in the driver's seat to determine where new shelters will go, and based upon the priorities that we established on the data, we're not at the relying upon a contractor to let us know where to place shelters based upon advertising revenue potential. And so by doing that, we know we're going to be able to place shelters where they're needed most, and we're gladly going to report back on a month-to-month basis when we start installing those shelters to let the council members know where we are installing those shelters.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Ms. Rahman?
I just wanted to rise, like many of my colleagues today, to speak in support of this effort, and I want to thank Councilmember Blumenfield for leading this forward. I think for all of the reasons that Councilmember Bonin identified, this effort to address bus shelters, to increase their number in the city, to make sure that they are serving our most frequent bus users is so important. I think the question for me as we move forward, and I think to me this feels like one step of others that we have to make sure and put together in order to ensure that this program is successful, is really to say, how do we ensure that revenues that are generated from this, if they are indeed meeting the very optimistic figures that have been cited in this report, how are those revenues going to come back and ensure that they really fund further expansions of exactly these kinds of services? How do we ensure that these revenues are really plowed right back into making this program more sustainable, more effective over the long run? And I think that's work that I hope that this council can commit to doing as we move forward. But I wanted to thank you all for your work so far, and I'm looking forward to improvements in something that I think is desperately in need of improvements in this city. Thank you.
All right, members, seeing no other members on the queue, the only thing I will say about these two items, and I really do think it's embarrassing that the city can't provide the most basic infrastructures like bus shelters. And if this contract moves forward today, we need to all make sure that this inequity gets addressed across the city. My office intends to meet with the Bureau of Street Services and Transito and give you the critical areas where bus shelters are needed in my district. And we need to expect that you do that and you prioritize some of these underserved areas in our city if we decide to move forward today. So seeing no other members on the queue, I'm going to go ahead and ask the clerk to open the roll on items 4 and 5. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
Aye. No.
Okay, Madam Clerk, what's before us now?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
Those are posted and referred. Members, are there any announcements? Mr. Koretz, did you have an announcement? No announcements? Seeing no announcements, can we all rise for adjourning motions? Mr. Lee, do you have an adjourning motion?
I do. Thank you, Madam President. Today, colleagues, I'd like to adjourn in the memory of David Lacey, the husband of former Los Angeles District Attorney Jackie Lacey, who passed away on September 5th after a courageous battle with pancreatic cancer. David graduated from Crenshaw High School and earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration from Cal State Los Angeles. David worked as an auditor for various firms prior to joining the District Office Attorney in 2004. During his tenure with the District Attorney's Bureau of Investigation, David was primarily assigned to complex fraud and corruption cases. He was passionate about protecting the elderly from financial fraud. Aside from his skillful investigative techniques and work ethic, David was well-regarded, joyous, principled, and true gentleman. One of David's colleagues noted that he doesn't ever remember seeing David have a bad day. David loved laughing at his friends and colleagues and got joy from making people laugh. David was a devout student of the Bible. He would tell his colleagues about different times in his life that he felt God was there with him and his family. Even throughout his illness, his faith never wavered. He is survived by his wife Jackie, daughter April, and son Kareem. He's a wonderful father. He's a wonderful friend and colleague. May David Lacey rest in peace.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. I had no idea he had been sick. Our condolences go out to Jackie and her entire family. We can all make this an all-council adjournment. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Ms. Rodriguez?
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, I ask today that we adjourn in memory of Rudy Calderon. Rudy passed away recently, and his life was one of great public service to our country and to the beloved community of Pacoima. Rudy and his 3 younger brothers all served during the Second World War. Locally, Rudy owned the Shoe Clinic, a shoe repair shop on Van Nuys Boulevard in Pacoima, for decades. He also volunteered at the Alicia Broadus Duncan Multipurpose Senior Center for decades. And as luck would have it, met his wife, Christina, there, who's photographed here, the 3 of us together. Sadly, Christina preceded him in death just a couple of years ago in the pandemic, but they met each other and married through their service at the senior center when Rudy was 99 years old, his first wife having passed away back in 1974. Rudy remained full of life well into his later years, implicitly subscribing to the notion that age is just a number. Rudy is survived by his wonderful children as well as countless grandchildren and great-grandchildren. I used to be able, I could always count on seeing both Rudy and Christina at the 10 a.m. Mass at Mary Immaculate. I would often see them at our senior balls that we would have. They were so in love, and they were so youthful and just so very active. Rudy, in fact, I don't know how he did it, but he was still driving even at the age of, I saw him at the age of 103. So very active, full of life, great human beings, the 2 of them. And this is another tragic loss, both seeing some members of the greatest generation losing and passing with that incredible history. But Rudy and Christina, God bless them both, and our thoughts and prayers to their family on this incredible loss and to the community of Pacoima. May he rest in peace.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Mr. Krikorian?
Thank you very much, Madam President. Members, I'd ask that we adjourn this meeting of the Los Angeles City Council in memory of Sarah Ramzawak, who was one of our great neighborhood champions in North Hollywood, but even more important, for the entire city. She was one of the great champions of neighborhood empowerment throughout the city. In 2007, she was the founder of the Strathern Neighborhood Watch, which just this week is celebrating its 15th anniversary of keeping the people of that community safer. She was one of the longest serving and most active members of the North Hollywood Northeast Neighborhood Council, which she served for 10 years as the secretary, chair of the Outreach Committee, chair of the Homelessness Committee, chair of the Planning and Land Use Committee, and also as the Neighborhood Council's budget representative during her time of service there. She was a member of the San Fernando Valley Homeless Coalition and was one of the most vocal advocates for increased interventions to uplift the homeless population of North Hollywood, and also was one of the great leaders in bringing communities along with that effort. We would not have been successful in opening some of our tiny home communities had it not been for Sarah's fierce advocacy with people in communities throughout North Hollywood. Beyond the area of North Hollywood, she was also one of the organizers of the Congress of Neighborhood Councils. Many of your offices probably heard from Sarah when it was time for us to put on the Congress every year. She was really a vocal advocate for ensuring that neighborhoods throughout Los Angeles were active in empowerment, that the people of Los Angeles were empowered. She was a fierce advocate for voting throughout the city as well, particularly in those neighborhoods that are traditionally underserved. There are countless projects that my office worked with Sarah on. Some of the most notable ones are the Whitsett Slope mural bringing shade to Jamie Beth Slavin Park, countless cleanup efforts throughout the community. Sarah really is one of those leaders who made a lasting, really a permanent difference in her neighborhood, and we will greatly miss her. She's survived by her son Ronald, and really her larger family were all the people of North Hollywood that she served so faithfully for so long. May she rest in peace.
Thank you, Mr. Krikorian. Any other adjourning motions, members? Seeing no others, our meeting is adjourned.